All right, guys, just so I can send this out to everybody else that's not here, because I want everybody to get this. And I've got obviously the Facebook group and the and obviously the emails. We've had about 10 to 12 people just drop off the face of the earth, which is why I was wanted to do the registration. And if that turns people off, I'll just do another one in the next week or two where it's just anybody. I don't need the registration, but I was trying to capture emails that aren't responding back. We have a lot of people that just, I don't know, for whatever reason. And I mean, in some of the cases, it's like I send an email and it comes back. So it's like, they drop off the face of the earth or whatever. So what's happening, guys, now is that okay, cool, dude. We're not probably even going to go more than 20 or 30 minutes, Anthony. So if you got questions, or chat works for me too. I don't think we're gonna. Everybody that's on tonight that signed up knows is it's the usual people. I mean, Kevin, you. I don't think even Scott. I think Scott's busy. He's going to be on. Angel said he was coming on. Matt Moreland was on the call with us, the masterclass group the other night. So I know I'm pretty much going to do this for the recording purposes. So if you guys have a chat question or whatever, let me, just send it in chat. But so what's happening now, guys, is I'm just going to give you a quick update on the settlement. So the settlement basically was the bankruptcy court judge, which got approved. She confirmed the settlement plan last year, but then it had to go to a federal court, another federal court, a district judge. He affirmed it, not confirmed it, affirmed that agreement on March 28th. On April 19th, they had some stays. There's some automatic stays that all expired on April 19th last week, and basically has gone effective, meaning the trustee can be in place. So the trustee is actually in place to distribute. It's going to be almost $6 billion. There's 2.4 billion in the fund right now. I am. My lawyers are asking for 2 million. I am guaranteed $850,500. That is the minimum at 62%. They call it a recovery rate. That does not include aggravators and other things. So at 63%, recovery is 850,000. 100% is 1.35 million without the aggravators. So my attorneys are asking for 2 million. So they're saying probably towards, it'll take about 6 to 8 weeks for the trustee to get her staff hired, and she has to hire vendors and stuff like a claims management company to basically handle, because there are 82,000 claimants, and they're all getting anywhere from 3,500 to 2.7 million. So it just depends. There's like 45,000 that are getting like the 3,500. They're mostly like witnesses and stuff like that. So I'm going to get my settlement probably between the fall and end of the year. So realistically, so the plan is in place to basically do. I got about 30 people that are going to do the rebates. I still get, I'm waiting to contact the other people. If they don't contact me, I'm going to go ahead once I get the money to generate the rebates 100%. Obviously we're not just people, you guys know some of the people obviously like Wayne and stuff that aren't going to get them because they kind of direct things, but everybody's going to be eligible to get a rebate 100%. And then what we're going to make a decision to, I'm going to make it with you guys, especially the key guys, like you guys that are on right now that have been around, and Kevin make a decision on what approach to use to still do the capital raise. We still have Del Morgan as an option, and I'm thinking still want to do. It'll be 150,000. So at that point, I'm looking at about being at it for about $210,000. So if we do all the rebates and stuff, some of the people are not going to, even if they give them a rebate, we're not going to, I don't really want to have any of the Sean's marijuana people in. Obviously, there's a few people like, you guys know one of the people that complains the most probably has the least amount, $250. You guys know who that is. So those kind of people they won't be, I'm not going to let them stay in because they're not obviously doing what we're doing in real estate. So just
you mean people like me, Nate? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Who's this? Keep a little professional, Nate. It's Mike Dillon.
Okay. How you doing? I'm not gonna have marijuana involved right now.
That's fine. Just keep it professional.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay, but it's like frustrating because it's like, I'm just trying to say that there are some marijuana. A lot of Sean had some other people that were marijuana that are not, there's only really one person that ever sent marijuana stuff in that was actually an easy deal to do. But yeah, we are. And the reason like I said, the reason that I'm asking for emails is because we've had people literally, I'll send an email and it will come back as the email is not get valid anymore. Maybe they changed it or something like that, and I don't have the update. So I want to capture as many of the emails as I have because I do have about 30, 35 emails out of the 43. And the actual return emails when we send an email. So we are gonna probably, like I said, we're gonna be doing this it's gonna probably be around about 60,000, roughly 60 to $63,000 is what I'm estimating for the rebates out of the ones that are being done. And then, if you want to do real estate, Mike, I mean, I'm more than happy to do that. I just said it's just like I don't think I'm going to be able to find investors out of anybody that we have that will do hemp or marijuana, at least together as real estate. So if you guys want to, if anybody wants to do real estate, then you can do the opt-in. So that's fine. But so what we're gonna do is we'll probably do Del Morgan because that is a pretty good deal. They basically raised about $400 billion for their customers, and we've talked to them a number of times, and they can raise it. They can raise that money, and so they are going to do that. But that's going to be the decision we're going to make. If anybody wants to cut the point, they can cut. They can leave. They'll have 100%, and I will go actually 20% over. So I'll give it a 20% premium on their memberships. But like I said, I have to be realistic to do this. I have to be able to get the money, which is out of my money settlement, and then we'll make a decision. Because I have to make the decision if I'm going to spend $150,000 extra to do that, or if I'm going to, what we can do, what the best option is at the point. But everybody will have the option to stay in or to, if they want to walk, they can walk at that point. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, and everybody can integrate now into that associate group. The good thing, people were asking about what I was doing in there. So we do have a number of people that are actually gap or transaction lenders, and we have a lot of lenders in there. So if you guys want to do real estate, and I know Anthony and Jesse are in there, so I'm pretty much talking to you, Mike. I want to integrate everybody, but I'm going to keep some of this up, there's some separation. I mean, as far as details, as far as I want to do is I want to combine. Now they're not obviously, they don't even know about the rebates or anything like that. And those people are in that group. So if you guys want to come in there, you could, yeah, we're going to probably, Anthony will probably do that. I'll probably put an escrow account, some kind of thing, or like I'm going to try to reach everybody. And I've got a friend of mine who's good at, I mean, actually one of the guys that's in our masterclass group is really good at skip tracing. So I may just give him their names and their their last known email addresses and see if he can find them, because he's got, like, you guys have seen him punch out like 3 or 4 of those search apps in the group. So we'll be able to actually, I'm going to, like I said, try to make it the people that are definitely not going to be eligible, or, you guys know, it's like there's some people that pretty much interfered with the whole thing. Actually, so we're not going to have any contact really with them. Yeah. Del Morgan's awesome. And you know that. So Del Morgan is really solid. And I have still there, and I've been in contact with Jason there for a while. Now, once I do pay it, they actually have to do it like they have clients. So I have to basically get in the queue. But once we know the settlement is also happening, there's actually settlement funding and settlement I can get a loan against it ahead of time. So I'm pretty much going to make it decision on whether we do Del Morgan or, we can do some other avenues. Obviously there are some other avenues out there. We have kind of thought about that NFT thing, but I'm kind of like leaning against that with all the crypto stuff. Because people were like, hey, we should do an NFT. And then like Sean won't be involved. I haven't talked to Sean in probably 8 months now. So I hope he does better. I mean, Sean was still my friend, but I just, he was kind of like, didn't know what conversations he was having with people. And it definitely wasn't real estate and all that. So I don't want to get into negative stuff. I just really want to kind of give you guys what it is, because like I said, the settlement will happen, and you guys can, you guys can follow it. I can give you guys the website, but it's kind of, like, you don't really, you don't know what's going on, because there's a website where they update every day. They update and all that stuff. It's, the tort claim committee, which is basically one of the groups that the law firms are part of that are doing it. So if I get, like I said, so if I get 850, which is the minimum, that I walk away with 510,000. So at that point, if I'm about 100, 210,000, I'm literally using almost half of my settlement. So I am obviously doing the rebates. I've committed to that. I'm not going to, we'll have a few conversations once this happens about what direction the members want to go. and how many members and all that stuff if they want me to go in, and then I'll have to see if that's the best avenue. Because once we do Del Morgan, they say that normally it takes them 4 to 6 months to do it. You know, they don't release the package for a month or two. There's a schedule. If you guys want to see the schedule, I can also post it in the message group. It was just based on last year of us doing it. So you just have to know the time frame is 3 or 4 months, but the dates are going to be wrong because they were all, well, Jesse and Anthony, you guys saw it, probably already saw that, but I'll post it for everybody.
Are you still going for $1 billion from them?
They said that. They said go
Wow.
for it. They said literally we can get that done faster than we can get 10 million.
It's crazy.
And it's not going to be just real estate. I mean, we still want to do osmium and all mining and all that stuff. And you know, I don't know, man. We still got 6 months at least. So they're
Yeah.
saying what the trustee is saying. The trustee just got into business last week. She's a retired federal bankruptcy judge. And then the number 2 is a retired over our claim administrator is a retired chief federal district judge. So, and then they got to hire, like I was saying earlier before Anthony and Mike got on, there are 2 guys. Basically they're hiring a sex abuse against children, dealing with male victims consultant. And then they've got to obviously hire, they got JP Morgan's going to manage the money. There's already $2.5 billion there. They've already transferred in about $2.5 billion. There's still some insurance companies that haven't settled yet. So the insurance companies that settle basically will get released from liability on future claims. And then there's some other entities and stuff. There's still one more step because there is an appeal, but the appeals were shot down as far as the stays were. So, and most of my lawyers are like, the appeals aren't, they're statutory. They get a chance to appeal, but it only could, and it won't go to the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court's not going to hear it. But it's all supposed to be done. Like I said, the trustee is actually working right now. They're hiring staff. They got to go through 82,000 claims, and they're going to pay off. The $3,500 option was an option a lot of the witnesses and stuff got, like people that were just at camps and stuff. There's probably 30,000 that are just getting 3,500 and walking away. And they already agreed. They had to agree when we voted. We voted on it in last year in 2022. We took a vote, 85%, 85.72% of the survivors voted for the plan, and then it went to the judge. She had to then confirm it, and she did it was a trial for almost 6 weeks last year. It had ended just about this time last year, and then it took her 3 or 4 months to rule, and then the federal judge just signed off on it last Wednesday morning, which was, it was like kind of cool. But right now, with the insurance companies coming in, it's going to be over $6 billion. So it's pretty substantial compensation. So there's a couple classes over mine. Like really, the high end is like 2.7 million, and that's like penetration. I mean, there's some I was reading some of the stuff that's pretty sick. What people were doing and stuff. I've had to read a lot of the other victims' letters because they write letters to the judge, and it's in a portal, and it's like there's people in prison and stuff, and they don't have lawyers, or they do but they don't. But imagine being in prison and having to write everything in hand, and it's like regardless of whatever got them into prison, they still need to get compensated. So it's a long process, guys. I've been doing this for 3 years, but I was 2 to 3 years before that. I was talking to lawyers, and there was a lot of cases going on. And what had happened is a lot of the lawyers were going to do what they call ring the bell. It's kind of like a wholesaler. Ring the bell. I'm going to go get $10 million for my client, and I'm going to make $4 million off the case on my contingency. And they were racking those up. The last like 30 of them were like $200 or $300 million went out the door. And so they finally just had to file bankruptcy in order to be able to do these structured settlements. And then there's one small group of victims in Guam that are trying to appeal, like 77 people out of 82,000 are trying to sue because they were also the Catholic Church. And you guys want to go look at this. The Catholic Church is involved, the Methodist Church, the Mormon Church. It's like, all the churches are like constantly hurting kids. It's amazing with priests and Boy Scouts, Scoutmasters, and pretty horrible. So obviously, without getting into what's me going. So, like I said, guys, I still am 100% wanting to do this, and I know you and Jesse, you and Anthony are both in that other group. Mike, you're free to join that other group, but we're going to separate a little bit from PMA as far as some of the lingo. Like they know you guys are coming from PMA OG, and there are people in there that are transaction lenders or gap lenders, and we also have 20,000 lenders. I put all the lenders in. I had lender lists, databases and stuff before we even tried to do the fund. So I'm putting a lot of those resources are in there. And we have a database that you guys can use that's you can actually just download from files tab section. And we got by July we'll have 20,000 contacts in there. And you may be able to find like somebody who will do hemp or marijuana. It was kind of like a big thing when I let Sean do it. I was coming from the point of view of wanting just to be able to do the real estate portion, and all of a sudden people were starting to hit me up for like grow operations and stuff that it's like I can't go to, I can do the real estate, but if somebody doesn't want to do hemp or marijuana, they're not going to invest because it's like then they start thinking everything's commingled. So that was a huge mistake on my part, and we should have separated, or I should have just told Sean to do his own thing. Unfortunately, Sean was much. I don't know how much you guys, obviously, Mike, you knew him before his TIA, before his mini stroke. He was a lot different person after December 2019. And I kind of regret, he's my friend. He's still my friend. Even though I haven't talked to him for 8 months, I still want him to do it to recover. But he isn't it. You guys probably never you've never met Sean. So you didn't have to see him when he was learning how to walk again after he'd been. And you guys probably didn't even know that. I literally met him and right after he got out of the hospital and he was using a walker. Like he was like 90. He was or a little kid. I mean, he was like struggling. Like you see that guy in The Simpsons that has the walker. I mean, he was a little having to learn how to walk again. So we made a few mistakes there, and obviously having Wayne in there and Michael Heckman and stuff, who was doing stupid things. And I never had a problem. I want to do hemp because I think there's a lot of money in there. There's a lot of opportunity, but nobody could really how the business plan is where I could show investors. I can show investors all day long real estate and where they make their money and their preferred return and all that stuff. So, like I said, Mike, it is an open invitation to come into the real estate group, to the group we're doing. And then, who knows? Once we do the rebates, then you'll have an option, what you want to do. There are some,
I appreciate that.
and I can maybe, Mike, if you're interested, I can maybe try to get one of the databases that are marijuana or hemp oriented, where they are known investors. There is a database available for it. When I get these other databases, I may be able to trade a couple of the ones I don't need for one of those. But it's not something we're going to try to organize because I just think there's still so much in flux with that industry that I think it scares a lot of the people that we need to get the real estate funding from.
Yeah, if you trip over anything, I'll take it. I appreciate it.
I know, and I've tried to be cool. It's just frustrating, man. Sean brought a lot of people in that just kind of like, it's hard to explain. People can't tell me how to fund, where the money's at, and there's so much regulatory stuff and all that. So I will definitely invite you into that group. That way you can see what's going on if you want to talk about the real estate stuff, or who knows, maybe I can find. Like I said, I'm willing to make the effort. You've been around. You guys have been along. Keep in mind, a lot of my frustration has been just the frustration of Wayne and COVID and Phil and all these. Obviously having Phil as a partner was a huge mistake. Yeah, that was the guy that probably put us on a steep slope. Yeah, so I mean, it took almost a year to recover from just the documents that I had to redo because of him. Matt, what's up? So yeah, so Mike, I'll send you that invitation. It's up to you if you want to get in. If you don't, that's no problem.
Okay, cool.
So nothing, no hard feelings, dude. And I'm sorry. Sometimes I vent a little bit. This thing was all supposed to be done in a year, and I think honestly, even if it wasn't for Phil, I think honestly, if we had raised the money, we would have raised the money right as COVID had started, and it would have maybe been a problem because of the economy. Kevin and I have talked about that a few times. Like, hey, if we had all of a sudden we're raising the money at that time, we still could have been in the same boat. But obviously, Phil and like I said, I love Sean as a friend. I should have cut him loosely, and I tried not to. I didn't want to punish him for having a TIA by like, hey, you're out of the business. I thought he could still be of use, and he just was like, by that time he was slipping. The last time I talked to him, he was barely coherent. you know, and he stayed at my house for like a week 2 years ago, and he's like, man, it was like having a 3-year-old. I mean, literally the whole time he was staying with me. I mean, I just it's a little, you know, I feel, and I want to get this thing done for you guys. I'm just not trying to tell you guys what's realistically going on, and you guys can just go Google the Boy Scouts abuse settlement, and you guys will come up with this, you know, the same things. You just don't have the access like I have with the login, because I log into more to my law firm's website and all that. My lawyers have a website, and I have one for the court that they use. So where we get our updates, but realistically, like I said, it's going to be 2 months, maybe 3 months before they're actually reviewing the cases, and then. But the good thing is, I'm represented by a law firm that's one of the top ones, and they've got everything done for me. They've got all the, you know, they've got everything. There's 7 victims from my town, and literally at that time, there's only like maybe 5,000 people in our town. So it's, you know, there's probably 2 to 3 times the amount of people. So if you just want to think about that, just in the Denver area, there are 306 claimants. And so it's pretty, you know, it's widespread. It's like literally sea to shining sea, you know, Washington state to Maine to Florida to California and everywhere in between. There's only like 5 councils out of all the Boy Scouts that don't have a claimant. So it's pretty severe. And I didn't want to tie this to it, but realistically, I want to get you guys the rebates, and I made that promise, but this is the only way to finance them. So that way you guys can get taken care of, and then you guys can make a decision, you know, what you want to do. You know, I'll kind of come up with a plan. I'll meet with the guys that are I think can help me get it done, and then we'll make a decision. And my goal is to still do Del Morgan or something, but it all, you know, a lot of it depends on the timing of what's going on economy wise and what Del Morgan comes. Del Morgan's really the best way, because they're 100% confident and they have a track record. And if you guys go to their website, it's like who's who of business schools like Stanford Business School, Harvard Business School that their employees are from. They're like a second tier right after Del Morgan, right after JP Morgan and Goldman and Morgan Stanley. So they're really big investment banker. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the. I just want to record it. I'll take it up record if you guys want to talk. I just want to have some kind of placeholder to send to everybody. We had 43 people, so I need to, you know, to get it to the other people and kind of send it out to the emails and then also post it in the group. But I'm not going to put this anywhere public. Obviously, I'm talking about some sensitive stuff, and my lawyers have told me not to put too much detail out there. But you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. So let me take it off recording, and then